Hello, everyone. This is Deonslow Cole, and this is my week 4 presentation for my app in Advanced Visual Frameworks 2015 of November. Right here, we have my sequence page for my app, my user sequence page, and once we load up the page, we'll come to a map page that'll have different locations and different venues on there that the user could look at and click and see which one is close by them. If there is no network, then of course we'll alert them that no network is available. And if no location could be found around them, then what will happen is that we will go to a venues page where they can search for venues near them, and then click on one of the venues, and then pop up to a map page with the venues actually, or with the venue they selected on it, and see how far away that venue is from them, and they can go back to the venue page and then look again and click another venue and see. And if there was no network available, then of course we would alert them for that. So they kind of changed everything up from the first time I had to design out and laid out how the flow of the app was going to go. And as far as the flow chart, we know it's kind of the same thing where we get the cloud, we start everything out with launching the app, get the cloud, get the geo, the API, local storage, and we build the UI out. And vice versa, if there's no connection, then alert no network and get the local storage, read the data, and then build the UI out. And from there, if we go to the geo, then we push out the latitude, longitude for each one. And in the API, we read it, get the HTTP client, get the URL, send that data out, send the API data out as we put the lat long into the API and go out. And then from the local storage, we create the table with the API and the URL data, insert it onto the table, read it, and then push it out to the desired devices, whether it's iOS or an Android, to the UIs. And starting out with the code for that, as we can see, we go in and we have our cloud requirement here, where we log in and connect with the cloud for our users and check to see if there's a network and everything. And then we start out with our geo, where we get the locations for that, and we push that out into our API. And then from there, our API builds out. Way I had it for that, in order, to locate these specific first locations that were immediately around us. I had one API to do that, and what I found that was coming back was that sometimes I would get, if I wasn't in any immediate areas, I would get a 0 for locations, and you can see in the console that we were getting a 0 back when we started. If there was no place around us, our locations right here would be, well, right now it says 6, but our locations would start out with 0 if we're nowhere around. But if there were 0 locations, then run this API, which would then give us some venues the venue page we can choose from to see which one is closest to us, and go for there. So put an if statement in to get that going and everything, and then push that all out, put that into an array. Found out I had to put that into an array because there are so many venues in the data for the API to be able to put into a table to be able to read it correctly. That was a trick within itself. As you can see here, for the for loop goes in as we create our database. We executed where we create the table. If it didn't exist, then we insert it into the table. But being that we have different levels, different layers of things that are going in, had to definitely put a loop there. Come to find out that we needed to put a loop in, so that way it would continuously insert new data into the table. And from there we went into our read, and our read would then be able to read all the info that we put into our table. You see, as we cleaned the table out first with the data, then we selected all the information, field by name, with the information that we needed. And I chose that if we had a platform, if it was an Android or if it was iOS, then you would run that. And from there, we would then go into our the map view of it, where we would then come in and see we had to require the TI map for the venues. Then we would find parking near you if that was the case, if we had to do that, and go through there and create annotations for that and go through there with everything. So it was, and also when I'm going back with the other API, with finding the venue itself, kind of the same thing, where we would then had to create a loop for the storage for the actual parking lots that was actually near us. If we pushed into this table, same thing. If there were a bunch, then we would have to loop through that data and get all of that. And then we come in and have to do the same thing. We have to read all of that, read that information, and set it into our fields and push it out into our different to the different maps and everything. So that way we would be able to read it. And running this program, my app, earlier in the daytime it was returning one venue, and come to find out as the day goes on, and of course venues open up with parking spaces and things of that nature, there are more that are around me, and had a problem. So I spent the majority of yesterday and today trying to figure out how to get that part. So it's a loop that's running into it, and it's going down and it's pulling the actual last data information that I have for the parking location and putting it into my map. So I'm trying to figure out where that loop should go at to put the for loop into my my code, so that way my database will read correctly and put all the annotations in as they should be. So that's been kind of a small little challenge in trying to figure that out. And as we launch the app, as you can see, there's our, hey, this wants to use our location. And we say, okay, we'll allow that. And then there's the one location that's our very last one, as you can see here, South Brevard Street. And if we click on it, that's the one that it gives us, our preferred parking 125. Where, move this out of the way. $11, and there are 7 spots available. So it's coming up. I got to figure out how to get that changed a little bit. We're getting 6 locations, and there should be 6 annotations on our map. If I can go up and show you where that, locations right there, where we are returning 6 for that. There's a loop going on somewhere where it's pulling. I got to figure out where that loop should go. And if I change this in our, to say 7 locations, if it's equal 7, we want to run this one. So hopefully we will get that to run and change everything out to make it really work for us. So we'll get different venue. We should get different venues that are immediately around where I am now to be able to choose from, just in case there were no immediate parking locations in the area that we could choose from. It gives us a nice little table to do and everything. And as we bring it back up, we see there's our app icon. Click on that. It's going to load. It asks, do you want to allow it? We say yes, we want to allow it. And we're getting that back again. So I got to change this number over here one more time. So if I get the venues to pop up now with that. And voila. Here are our venues that are near and around. So if we were to click on one of them, and take it to map. And I put a little route on there. Couldn't figure out how to get through to the different, but putting the line on there, it shows how far away and how close. And our back button to close the window out, we can go back to our views. I think I clicked on the same one again, and we can get back out of it. And let's see, let's click on another one just to see. So yeah, we can see how that goes. Map view is cool and everything. I got that to work by going into the where are you, the TApp XML folder, and definitely putting it into the modules here. Getting the Android part was a bit tricky. There were some steps that I could not figure out, and I tried, and it almost made the app crash a couple times because it was not reading the module or anything like that. So I have an actual Android key that I went and applied for, and trying to put that key into the mix of things, it was not accepting it and really didn't like what I was doing. So I just kind of scrapped that and couldn't get it to work on the Android. But I got to work on the iPad and got that part going, so it's a very good head start and get on the way of trying to figure out how to make things work. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you.